Hi guys, let me introduce myself first. My name is Mutia Irhamni and I would like to introduce you to my cognitive stylistic. It is my research and fulfillment of my midterm examination, and that's why I did this YouTube channel. But before that, I would like to introduce you to why I analyze this. According to my opinion, this power is very good enough. The exercise of mother and advice of mother is very crucial in this poetry. For when you are reading this poetry, you're always concerned about this term. And also the second, I used three methods of this poetry in analyzing this poetry. The first is cognitive stylistic, and the second schematic theory, the conceptual, and the third conceptual of figurative language. That it is very crucial. They are very crucial in analyzing this poetry because I think this poetry compounds many figurative language. And also, when I'm talking about this poetry and analyzing, we can find many things, especially in writing style of Langston Hughes. He's writing with the language African American slang. We can call it a slang language. It's very unique to understand and to comprehend, right? The symbol and the design of the that he directly introduced that he is an African, something like that. The components of culture especially can be described in this poetry. So I sums up the conclusion about this poetry. The first is vividly of characteristic of mother in this poetry is very great description, single mother especially. And the second, the writing style of Langston Hughes is very great. And for further explanation, I will share this to you. Good day, guys. I would like to introduce you to my cognitive stylistic assignment in the fulfillment and requirement of my midterm examination. It is under the title A Cognitive Stylistics Analysis of Langston Hughes' poem Mother to Son, compiled by me, Mutia Irhamni. Okay, let's begin to introductions of this analysis. It focused on how figure of speech can be portrayed as features of creativity and novelty. Not only about that, we find something so interesting in the writing style and ideology of the writer, and we focus on how the figure of speech can be identified in the poetry. And also we focus on the ideas and the great meaningful intake meaning in the poetry. And the second is aim and research. There are two basic points that we noted down in here. The first is the coherence among figures of speech, and the second style of narrator included linguistic aspects. In the note down, I will marginalize linguistic aspects. What does it mean? Linguistic aspects is about how the narrator give the complexity in a writing style, the idiolect, and the structure of grammatical that has been given that has been his characteristic or his style in a writing. So we're gonna to discuss about it at a time. And the third is a theoretical background that I've used to, and it is a method to analyze this literary work. The first is cognitive stylistics. Cognitive stylistics is the means of stylistic, the lesson or the measure of language, and the mix with the cognitive. It is a mentality thought to interpret something, I meant. And the second is a schema stylistic, schema theory, first articulated in the 1920s as a part of Gestalt psychology. Schema theory applies both to the process of sensory data and the processing of language. So, schema stylistic is about the processing data, and the data in the literary work. And the third is conceptual metaphor theory. Conceptual metaphor theory is considered to be very important in cognitive stylistics. State that a metaphor forms a type of epistemic subword in the text world. It means that conceptual metaphors, the figurative of speech, gives a detail meaningful if we can interpret as good as we know. It is the conceptual, depends on our mind. So we're gonna do to analysis and discussion. Here it is the poem Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I tell you, life for me had been no crystal stair. It had stacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the times I've been climbing on, and reaching London, and turning corners, and sometimes going to dark where then been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now, for I'm still going, honey. I'm still climbing on, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So that's all the sounds of the poetry. We're gonna to explain to analyze the patterns of creativity. I mean the symbol and the course, the basic of the creativity in this literary work. I find the first is metaphor in the sign of life for me and Minocus the stare, and second, I find allusions is a belief in an indirect reference to a person, place, or thing, idea, or historical. So, allusion it means that the symbol that we can interpret in a literary work that, especially, it is the knowledge. It is a literary significance, and we can be found in the history book or maybe in this poetry like the Bible. And see repetition, contrast, and assonance and consonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sound in the same line, such as the sounds of O in the sentence. So boy, don't you turn back. And the consonance is the repetitions of consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sounds of T and R. So with then been no light, like it is the example. An interesting one, it is the writing style. Writing style of this poetry. There are so many things. It is a slang, language, African style writing and speaking, they usually and commonly use it, and it is the style of the narrator and the writer of this poetry. Look at the style. Life for me and been noticed the stair. I've been climbing on and reaching landing and turning corners and sometimes going the dark, and it is the symbol of the ungrammatical correct, but in poetry we know that it is well and we can usually usually good to use. And we're gonna to the conclusion. To sum up, I would like to divide into two points. Here is illustrate vivid words in figurative language. It is so very remarkable poetry, and we can, if we take a look deeply in poetry, we can actually give a meaning in the surface. But in without any further ado, we can deeply um, give a meaning with a very methods in the cognitive stylistics. And second, uniqueness of language use and using African American language that I've explained before. So I think that's all about the explanation of cognitive stylistics analysis of Langston Hughes' poem Mother to Son. Thank you very much and thanks for watching.